Hello, everybody. My name is John Ughulu, and I am absolutely excited to be bringing you yet another beautiful episode of the Morale Booster with John Ughulu. And before I introduce my next guest, she's a powerful woman. I want you to remember to share this message, share this video, share this podcast to everybody on your network, because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. Thank you, and I know you guys will share it. So today I have with me a tilted fedora trainer. Her name is Kasundra Brown, aka Dr. K. She's a spirit-filled woman. She is a woman who understands what it takes to be a leader. She's a woman who has been in leadership for the longest, but I would want her to do a proper introduction because it's always good to hear from the horse's mouth. So Dr. K, thank you for joining me on the program.
Hey, John, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me on the program. I really appreciate the opportunity to introduce me to your audience, to your tribe, to your flock. And I know that those who are in your tribe are in a great tribe because they are traveling with a great man. So I am thankful to get to be with you. I am Kasundra, Dr. K. Brown, the Tilted Fedora Trainer. The Tilted Fedora is the hat. Everybody wonders what that is. The hat is called a fedora. I always wear it tilted. And when I started wearing fedoras, it happened a couple of years ago. My son bought me one as a gift. And I started wearing it, and people would say, wow, that really looks good on you. And then they'd say, tilted, it looks fabulous. So I started wearing tilted fedoras. Then I started speaking in the tilted fedoras. And one of my friends said, you should keep that because people will recognize it even if they don't remember your name.
Right.
And they'll say that lady with the tilted hat was such a dynamic speaker. Yeah. So it stuck. When the Lord gave me permission to go ahead and kind of make the pivot and go into professional speaking. And I said, Lord, what's my name going to be? He said, what are you known for? I said, the tilted fedora. He said, there you go. And my passion and my love are preaching and teaching. So tilted fedora trainer. That's how that came to be. But I've been preaching the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ for 30 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's a
long time.
I've been preaching longer than some of your listeners have been alive.
Absolutely.
That just goes to show them the Bible stands the test of time.
Yes, that's it. I really like your introduction. You know, that already has spoken a lot about you, and that alone has reassured my listeners that they would learn a lot from you today. So Dr. K, thank you once again for coming on the program. Yeah, you talked about wanting to transition or teach people how to do motivation using the original good book, the Bible. So can you please share some light in that area?
Yes. As I've listened, great question, thank you. As I've listened to motivational speakers, and I think everybody ought to listen to some motivational speakers, it is very encouraging, and what you hear is so important to what you believe you can do.
Right.
But as I've listened to motivational speakers, I've noticed that all the truths that they've taught, I've been able to connect to the Bible.
Yes.
So I believe that the Bible is true and truth and all transcendent truth. And by transcendent, I mean the truth that is true for all people in all places at all times. All of those truths are contained in the Bible. So rather than just go out there and say, this is what this man said, this is what that man said, I simply say, this is what the Word of God says. This is the truth from the Word of God, and this is how you apply it to your life.
Right.
If you honor what the Word of God says, and I say this to anybody, I raised my children on this. I said, if you will live your life according to what the Bible says, you don't even have to believe in the existence of God, and He will still bless you. And the reason He will bless you is that He is faithful to His word. He is faithful to His word. So when you give, He gives back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you look at every financial planner, every motivational speaker, all of them say you must first give to get. If you want to get more, give more. That's biblical. Bible says, give and it shall be given unto you. That's it.
That's true.
Now, I tell people that principle of giving, sowing, and reaping, that's from the Bible. You hear the motivational speakers say it, but they don't say it's from the Bible. They'll tell you sages know. Wise people say it's in the Bible. So I want to take biblical truth, which is universal truth, and give people practical applications for it so that they can see their lives transformed.
Right. That's a good one. I was born and raised as a Christian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and your mom did a great job. I loved your presentation during the Power Voice Summit.
Oh, thank you so much.
Your mom did a marvelous job in raising you.
Thank you so much. She's just like you and other real staunch Christians. She's a staunch Christian. She doesn't joke with that, and I appreciate her for that. Well, thank you for saying that. Zig Ziglar also said, if you want anything in life, you should help other people get as much as they want. So when you help people, when you give, you will get back. So I like that.
Giving gives you space to receive.
All right.
Otherwise, you become a hoarder. And I've never seen a hoarder. I've never seen a neat hoarder.
Right.
They don't exist. Right. But when you continuously give, you continuously have room to receive.
Absolutely.
And if you're giving, God never goes backwards. He never gives you less than what you had to begin with. So if you give what you've got, you will always get better because he is a God of increase. He is a God of expansion. He is a God of elevation. So he never goes backwards. When the people of Israel came out of Egypt, they went out of a land called Goshen into an entire territory called Israel. They got into a nation from a little bitty piece of land because God always gives more.
I love that. Thank you so much, Dr. K. That's a good refresher for me and for a lot of my viewers and listeners right now. So Dr. K is still in the building. So Dr. K, that takes me to the next question. What motivated you to become an entrepreneur? Or did you start off as an entrepreneur from school, or you first of all had a job? And
I had a job.
Okay,
I was a participant in somebody else's dream.
Okay.
And when I got to understand that story truthfully and it clicked, I started selling insurance. Oh. And the real reason I became an entrepreneur is that I had stayed home taking care of my two youngest sons for 7 years. That's a long time to be out of the labor market.
Right.
When I reformatted my resume and had to cover a 7-year break, someone who was a resume expert said, if you've got one of those long breaks, make it comical because you have been doing things in that break, especially if you've been a stay-at-home mom. Right. So on my resume for that 7-year break, I wrote that I was the CEO and BWC of the Brown Corbin Enterprises. Oh. And then I said, in that position, I led a small firm of 6 people and handled all day-to-day chores, such as, conflict resolution, time management, procurement. I did everything, customer service. And one person read the resume and was an Aflac representative, and he got in touch with me. He said, your resume is fabulous. I looked up Brown Corbin and Associates. I can't find it. Who are they? And I said, it's my family. And he started laughing. I said, I took a 7-year break to be a mom and to raise my children.
Wow.
And I said, now I'm coming back into the workforce. I had to explain that 7-year gap, but in that 7-year gap, I developed a lot of skills. And he said, with that kind of attitude, you should sell insurance. And I got my first job with Aflac and I became an entrepreneur.
Wow.
And fell in love with the freedom.
I can imagine that. I can imagine.
Fell in love with the freedom. So from there, the rest is history. Every job I've had, and I've gone back and went back to regular W-2 jobs, went into Medicare Advantage, but I've always loved the freedom of not having a W-2 job.
Right.
And so once I tasted entrepreneurship,
you couldn't go back.
You just can't. It is hard to go back to having to punch a clock when you've been free to pursue the things that interest you and give you the most joy.
That's true. Thank you for sharing. And there are so many people out there who are currently not happy with their employment. And that's research and statistics have already confirmed that a lot of people are not happy with their day jobs. So can you please advise, just advise someone out there on how to look into transition into something that they like? Because they currently do not like what they're doing, but they are scared to take that leap of faith into their calling. So can you please tell us what advice would be best for those people?
I love how you put that. For those who know their calling, all I can do is say, like Les Brown, our mentor, and John, for those of you who don't know, John and I met as classmates in the Power Voice system, sponsored and hosted by Les Brown, the world's best known motivational speaker, and John Talarico, the world's best known connector. And John has been making connections left, right, and center. And because of that, we're blessed.
Yes.
But for that person who knows their calling, knows what they like, knows their passion, all I can say to you is take the leap, grow your wings on the way down. Give it everything you've got, your wings. It will be scary, but it will be exhilarating. It's like jumping out of a plane. Mind you, I've never jumped out of a plane. I would never jump out of a plane. But I imagine that if I were to jump out of a plane, this experience is what it would feel like.
Right.
Every day having to be creative and enjoying being creative. Right. Every day getting to talk to interesting people and being an interesting person in conversation. So to that person who knows what their calling is, who knows what their passion is, what their gifting is, what they want to do, I say to you, risk it all and do it. And let me not even put it that way. Let me put it the way Miles Monroe puts it. There's a Bible verse that says, during the day, do your job, and at night, do not let your hands be idle.
Right.
This is from Miles Monroe. And what he says is that during the day, have your W-2 job that pays your bills. But while you're working that W-2 job, building somebody else's dream during the day, work on building your own dream at night. If you're able to fix cars and do body work, then get a car a month and do a car a month, if that's all you can handle. And allow that second job to build and to grow. Now, to the other half of the population,
right,
I think people are stuck in the jobs that they're stuck in because they are doing what they can do. And the only reason they're doing what they can do is they don't know yet what they love to do.
Right.
Unfortunately, they've not had enough experiences in enough varied things. I hate using the word things, but it's the only word I have right now. They haven't had enough experiences in enough different areas.
Right.
To find their singular passion, or they've had the passion and they've squashed it. So to that person, I'm going to give you, what's his name? Wayne, is it Buffett? Buffett.
Yeah.
The investor.
Yeah, Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett, thank you. I almost said Jimmy, and I knew it wasn't Jimmy Buffett. That's the singer. Warren Buffett says, your teenage passions are usually great careers. So think back to when you were a teenager, right, and to what you were passionate about. Every teenager is passionate about something.
Yep.
All of them. It drives parents up the wall because in their passion, they think that's the only thing that matters in life. Think back to your teenage years. Remember what you were passionate about then, and then begin to pursue that. Because that passion is still there. It's just been squelched. It's been pushed down. Life has happened. Other things took priority. But that's where you find your dream, is in that passion area. And when you find that, during the day, work your job. At night, don't let your hands be idle.
Right. I love that, Dr. K. Thank you so much. You know, what you said about having a job during the day and having, working on yourself at night, that resonates a lot with me. And I know that would resonate with a lot of my listeners. The first time I heard that from Dr. Miles Monroe, that immediately struck a chord in me. And from then I started telling people that it is good to use your 9 to 5 to finance your 5 to 9.
Yes, excellent.
It is very important. And also knowing that the good book also states that it means a lot. It means it is normal. It means it is something you have to look into. You need to spend more time working on yourself than you spend more time working on your job. Because your job, you could get fired. They don't want to know if you have so many children to take care of. They don't want to know if you are the only person earning in the family. When they're done with you, they are done. You're going. And so thank you so much for
look at what's happening. But just to continue with that point and to drive this home, look at what has happened in COVID.
Right.
With people losing their jobs and not having anything stored up, anything on the side, nothing else they could fall back on.
Right.
And now they are worried and concerned and consumed, depressed, oppressed, losing homes, chasing down food pantries because they weren't working on that second thing. What do I do when? Not if. What do I do when? What else do I have in my back pocket that I can pull out and I can work with? I met a wonderful lady who I was married for a time, and the woman who made my wedding dress was gifted to sew. And she said that about herself. I didn't say it. She looked at me and she said, Kasundra, you can drop me anywhere in the world. And as long as I have a needle and thread, I will make a living and I will be okay.
Right.
I will be fine because I have this skill, this ability. And that's the other thing is your skills and your abilities, nobody can take from you.
Never.
And they're transferable. What you teach yourself to do from your 5 to 9, you can actually take to your 9 to 5 and get a raise and get a better position if you choose to stay in the 9 to 5.
That's true.
Or you can get really good at your 9 to 5 and open your own business in that 9 to 5 industry.
You've said it all. That's a fact.
So again, you get to be in control.
Right.
And as having been created in the image of the Creator, God made us and gave us dominion. He gave us dominion over our lives.
Yes.
And it is a shame that so many of us give dominion over our lives to other people. So by being an entrepreneur, we get to have dominion over our territory, which is our life. And when we expand and broaden ourselves, we expand and broaden our territory.
Right. Right. I love that, Dr. K. Thank you so much. For those of you still listening to this program and watching via YouTube, this is Dr. K. She is a leader. She has been a leader for decades. And she's got so much experience. You should stay tuned, listen to everything she has to say. She's a wise woman. Wise people are rare to come by. She is a wise woman. So stay tuned. Dr. K, thank you so much. So that takes us to the next question. What challenges did you experience or encounter while transitioning from having a job to working all for yourself, by yourself?
I am still facing challenges.
Yeah, it never ends, right?
I am still facing challenges.
Right.
The scariest one is, will I have enough money at the end of the month to pay the bills that are coming?
Right.
And all I can say on that one is God has been faithful. I have not missed throughout all of COVID, and I've taken this opportunity to pivot. I've not missed any meals. I've not missed any bills. God has been faithful. Right. And that's why I tell people you can go ahead and take that risk. God is going to reward that risk, because what you're really doing is putting yourself in a position where you have to trust him and he has to come through. He has to prove himself faithful. So that's been the biggest one. That's been the biggest, is being concerned about cash flow. But now that's starting to work and come into place, and I'm okay with that. I'm living on less, but that's all right. I didn't need, you need to live under what you make anyway.
Right.
Is the truth. The other concern, though, is developing the daily discipline. It's easy to stay in the bed. It's easy to roll over and hit that alarm clock for the 5th time. It's easy to sit down in front of the TV and 4 hours later realize you haven't read a book, you haven't answered an email, you haven't done anything creative. It's very, very easy. So the biggest issue for me has been the discipline of setting some goals for each day and getting those things done. And I still wrestle with that daily.
Right.
Getting better, but it's still a wrestle. I just have to knock it out quicker.
Yeah. It can only get better. You know, they say if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. Like you mentioned, it's easy to just hit on the snooze button on the alarm and say, I'll wake up in the next 30 minutes. And you keep saying 30 minutes and 30 minutes and 30 minutes. Yeah, it's easy to say, oh, I'll get it done tomorrow. That's to procrastinate. But it's difficult to take action. It's difficult to get up when the alarm first goes off.
Yeah.
Difficult to organize your daily activities. But if you can do all those difficult things, your life will be easy.
It will eventually get easy. Yeah, and you have to act when you decide to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Excuse me. You still have to act as though you're getting a W-2.
Right.
You have to behave if I show up late, I'm going to have to explain it to my manager. And if you need to be your manager, walk inside your office, walk back, sit down in the chair and yell at yourself, walk back out, come back in, give yourself an explanation for why you're late.
Right.
And I had one of my Aflac managers said at the end of the day, she would fire herself and then in the morning rehire herself. She'd have a bad day and she said, that's it. I can't take you anymore. You're fired. And then she said, I'd go and spend time with my kids, tell my husband, oh, I got fired today. And I said, well, tomorrow you'll get rehired. And she'd say, in the morning, I'd get up and say, okay, let's try this again. You've got to report at 8 o'clock. You've got to be in that first meeting from 8 to 8:30, and then you've got to move on with the day.
Right.
She said she finally got tired of getting fired, so now she stays hired. She hasn't lost a job since.
That's it. That's a good one. Those are good tips, because at times, some things are taught, and sometimes some things are caught. What you just said now will definitely resonate with a lot of people. Those are tips that one can use to stay organized. Thank you so much, Dr. K. So now the pandemic is really an issue.
Yes.
And a lot of people have lost loved ones. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and a lot of businesses have closed up. What's your advice for people who fall into any of these three categories? They've either lost a loved one, lost their jobs, or no longer in business.
Wow. That is a rough one. For those who have lost a loved one, I say to you, remember, and you have to fight to remember the good times and begin to relive those memories in your mind and in your heart. Begin to say, I'm grateful for the time I had with them and not I'm angry because they're gone.
Right.
You knew before they died. And whether it was COVID or anything else, because unfortunately, the way the news is playing up COVID, we've forgotten that people are still dying by gunshot. People are still dying in traffic accidents. Yes. People are still dying with other diseases. People are still, unfortunately, committing suicide. So there are other families dealing with loss. And to those families, my heart breaks and goes out to you. What I say is remember, work to remember the good memories. And be grateful, be thankful for the time that you had with them. Say, God, I'm so grateful that you put me in her family. I'm so grateful that you put him in my life. And I remember when, and allow that to make you laugh. It's all right to laugh because that's how you get the mourning to turn to joy. Right. That's how you get the grieving to transition on. And then you get to where you can talk about them without crying. Or if you start crying, you remember something funny because you train yourself. And then you start laughing. And that's really where you want to get to. Mm. For those who have lost their jobs, hang on, things are going to change. And I know it's difficult. What I would say to you is take that advice. Think now about doing your own thing. The Chinese word, this is it. The Chinese word for crisis is also the word for opportunity. Get the wisdom in that, the power in that. Don't begin to see this as a crisis. See it as an opportunity. Look around and say, what else can I do? If you're somebody who's lost your job, you've never thought about doing Uber Eats, this may be the time to think about opening up your delivery business. Go and volunteer. I have heard there's the anecdote that's told about the man who couldn't find a job. In fact, I think Les Brown told it. The man who couldn't find, two men, both of them lost their jobs. One man complained that there was no jobs to be had. He became an alcoholic, ended up divorced on Skid Row. The other man went out and volunteered. Right. He started giving. He started helping other people. He volunteered for a nonprofit, told them what his skills were. And they said, well, we can't pay you to do that. He says, I don't want to get paid. I need to keep up my skills. Right. So he begins to volunteer, and a position comes open. Guess who's the first person in line to get that position? That just happened to a friend of mine. She started volunteering for a food bank. COVID has happened. She can't work. She begins to volunteer. The food bank has just given her a full position, and they just literally gave her a position. Now they're talking about elevating her. Wow. In that business. That was because rather than look at what happened, look at the opportunity as a crisis, she looked at the crisis as an opportunity. So that's what I say to those who have lost their jobs and lost their businesses. To the one who lost their business, I want to say to you, you've done it before, you can do it again. Absolutely. You're coming to this thing with experience. It's not your first go round. Now you can learn. In this opportunity, John Maxwell, one of my other mentors, says sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. We never lose unless we choose to. Yeah. You choose to lose. And I'm saying to you now, that's not the choice you have to make. You may not know this, but you have a choice. Right. You have a choice. You always have a choice. So in this period where you've lost one company, start thinking about the next. And start thinking about the next company and saying, okay, the reason that COVID was able to knock me out was because how can I COVID proof or pandemic proof or downturn proof this business? Right. That's a great one. Do it again. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much, Dr. K, for that. Now, Dr. K, my listeners and the viewers would want to know how they can reach you. And I understand you have just transitioned into the online ministry and coaching. And can you please share with us how you can be reached for those people who would need your guidance and your coaching? Yes, you can reach me. Oh, there are several ways. One is my website, www.thetiltedfedoratrainer.net. www. Left out one of the W's, thetiltedfedoratrainer.net. Right. I also have a Facebook page, and it is the @ Fedora on Tilt. But if you type in The Tilted Fedora Trainer on Facebook, this face will pop up. Okay, I have a Thursday night Bible study, Connecting the Dots Bible Study. And that has a picture of a fedora with connecting the dots and a little girl working on a connecting the dots coloring book. That's my logo for that. That's Thursday nights at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. And then there's always the ever popular email, and that's Dr. K at thetiltedfedoratrainer.net. Dr. K, and doctor is spelled all the way out, DOCTORK, at thetiltedfedoratrainer.net. I also have a book that's available on Amazon. I want to put that out there since this is a wonderful platform.
Right. Someone do you have a copy of it?
I do.
Okay.
There you go. Let's put it this way.
All right. Moving beyond
betrayal.
Betrayal. Okay.
That sun in it makes it a little hard to see. Let's turn it.
Right. So if you're listening to this program and if you're watching it, the title of her book is Moving Beyond Betrayal. Yeah. So you can grab it.
The tagline is help getting past what you may never get over. Okay. Moving beyond betrayal, help getting past what you may never get over. Everyone has dealt with a betrayal in their lives. My betrayal happened during the course of a divorce. I have a marriage that unfortunately, you heard me say I've been preaching 30 years, and preachers have marriages that don't make it too. We have marriages that fail. So anyone who has gone through a bad breakup, bad marriage, you walked into your job and found a pink slip on your desk, your best friend ran off with your boyfriend, and even for those who unfortunately were molested younger in life, it's for people who have gone through any kind of betrayal. It's a workbook. It will take you through 4 steps that will move you out of that painful place, what I call betrayal penitentiary, and bring you to that wonderful place called the promised land of the expanded, elevated life that you are supposed to live.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. K. And before I wrap up, I want to remind those of you listening to the program and watching via YouTube, so please remember to share this message to everybody on your network, because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. Dr. K is a very experienced woman, and I know when next we call her on the program, she would be available for us. And to everybody listening, I understand that we are going through perilous times right now. The level of depression has increased. The level of anxiety has increased, and the level of domestic violence has increased. I want to tell you that it is a mindset. It is your state of mind that would help you get past whatever you're going through right now. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. So if you are going through any challenges in life, please always remember to seek help when help is needed, and seek help where help is needed. There's so many networking groups right now on the internet. They're quite easy for you to be part of networking groups. If you feel what you're going through is something that needs to be shared, please do not hesitate to reach out to people who can help you. Am I right, Dr. K?
You are so right. Awesome. You are so right. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. You have a choice to make.
Right. So everybody, please stay positive. Albert Einstein said, in the middle of every difficulty lies an opportunity.
Yes.
So it's up to you to decide if what you're going through right now is an opportunity or if it's a challenge. It's a mindset thing. If you need help, seek help. If you need coaching, you can reach out to Dr. K. You can always reach out to me. You can reach out to a lot of networking groups out there. Please do not fail. Remember this. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Think about it. Thank you, Dr. K, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You are so welcome. I so appreciate the opportunity you've given me.
My pleasure. Until next time, bye, everybody.